Coming up on today's show, a Porsche Taycan in Germany travels 625 miles in 9 hours. Sandy Munro shares some of the secrets of the Tesla Model Y in a series of very cool teardown videos, and rumours abound that Ford's upcoming Ford F150 plug-in hybrid pickup will have a range of just 10 miles in EV mode when fully laden. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to another roundup in the world of cleaner, greener, safer and smarter transport. I hope that those of you who are fighting this horrible virus on the front line are staying safe. Thank you for your service. And that those of you who are stuck at home haven't yet gone completely stark raving bonkers. As always, thanks to the Electric Auto Association for their sponsorship of today's show. You can find out how to accelerate the electrification of transportation today by going to electricauto.org. Most long-distance road trips take longer in an electric car than they might in a comparable internal combustion engine one, just because of the time it takes to refuel. But this week we heard the story of an electric car that covered 625 miles in just 9 hours and 12 minutes. The car in question was a Porsche Taycan 4S being driven along Germany's Autobahn network by the folks at the Autobahn Specialist YouTube channel. Because the Autobahn has higher speed limits than most roads, as well as select segments that are completely unrestricted, the car was able to keep a fairly consistent high speed. Even if you factor in the charging time, average speeds work out to a heady 70 miles per hour. It proves that Porsche wasn't kidding when it says the Taycan was designed for sustained high-speed driving and sustained high-speed charging. As we covered in recent weeks, Tesla's US factories are currently unable to produce any vehicles because of current regulations. But that hasn't stopped Tesla engineers from working on designing and building ventilators to help in the fight against COVID-19. Unlike most other automakers engaged in the same fight, Tesla's engineers have taken a different track, repurposing Tesla Model 3 and Model Y components to design and build a fully customizable ventilator system that doesn't take parts away from an already constrained supply chain. The result? A fully functioning ventilator built in double quick time that Tesla already has all of the parts it needs to build. It even has a touchscreen display built out of the infotainment screen that's found in a Model 3 and Model Y. Now that's clever. While we're on the subject of the current global crisis, automakers have been slowly announcing furloughs and layoffs at factories across Europe and North America. Pretty much every automaker you can think of has been affected in some way or another, but exactly how each automaker has been affected depends on the company's size, how big its factories are, and if the company is engaged in emergency efforts with auto industry unions to make ventilators and other much needed emergency medical equipment. Despite the ventilator efforts that Tesla is engaged in, it can't actually restart vehicle production until May 4th because of stay-at-home orders in the Bay Area. Those who can't work from home will sadly be furloughed, and every employee will get some form of pay cut. Most will get a 10% cut, with director-level executives taking a 20% pay cut and vice presidents taking a 30% pay cut. In related news, Tesla CEO Elon Musk has said that Tesla's planned Battery Day is now officially being postponed amidst the current pandemic. Like the Autonomous Day that Tesla held last year, in which the company presented a whole deep dive into its autonomous vehicle hardware and software for Wall Street analysts and select journalists, Tesla's Battery Day is expected to cover both existing and future battery cell designs, as well as give details of Tesla's future production lines for batteries. While Musk said that Battery Day will happen, when it will happen is still up in the air. He said if things continue along their current path, it could possibly be held in May. With everything going on right now, you'd think that buying a new car would be the last thing that most people would be thinking of. But it turns out that the imposed isolation of COVID-19 is actually getting people to rethink their attitudes towards plug-in vehicles. Why? Well, with so few people out and about travelling, air quality has improved because of a reduction in transportation emissions. And people are seeing for the first time what the world could be like if we dumped fossil fuels altogether. And that, says Venson Automotive Solutions, means that more people in the UK A total of 45% of the people it questioned in a recent survey have realised what a difference electric cars could make to the environment, and they say they're now seriously considering EVs as a future car. It's hard to imagine anything positive coming from this pandemic, but the rise in EV interest could be a silver lining. As we've watched the Tesla Model Y enter production and begin deliveries, we've started to learn more and more about the engineering beneath this important vehicle. But over the past few weeks, we've learned even more thanks to renowned engineering expert Sandy Munro and his celebrated vehicle teardowns. For those of you who don't know, Sandy Munro tears down vehicles for a living and then provides detailed engineering reports to various automakers and analysts keen to understand how a rival's car works or how a particular vehicle is made, both from a cost analysis and an engineering perspective. And these Model Y teardowns, which have been taking place for the past few weeks, show us plenty of clever tricks that Tesla has used in Model Y. I don't have time to go into them all, but you should totally check out the many hours of analysis available by going to munrolive.com. For the past year or so, Ford has been talking about the hybrid, plug-in hybrid and all-electric variants to its iconic F150 pickup truck. And although we've seen some of the F150 electric prototypes in action, this week we learned via Autocar that the F150 plug-in hybrid will likely be paired with a powerful V6 engine and may only have an all-electric range of 10 miles per charge. That's already causing a lot of consternation in the EV world. But what's important here is that the magazine notes the quote is for a fully laden truck, not one being driven empty on a daily commute, as so many F-150s are. Look, I'm not looking to make any excuses for Ford, as that range is really small, but context is important, and this could suggest that unladen range may be 2 or even 3 times that of laden range, which is still too small if I'm honest. As one of the few automakers able to resume its production vehicle process at full steam ahead, because its facilities are in China, Volvo's luxury arm Polestar has been teasing us this week with the first ever footage of its Precept electric car in motion. Due to be unveiled this spring as a concept vehicle, the Polestar Precept is designed to be a high-performance luxury model with a fully vegan interior made of composite lightweight materials and recycled components. It's not clear if we'll ever see the Precept enter into production as a vehicle that you can buy, but Polestar says it's an expression of what the brand hopes to achieve in the future. In terms of design, I'm seeing elements of the Nissan 370Z at the front, with a sweeping full-length glass roof and a tail end that feels like a cross between the Volkswagen XL1 and the Lucid Air. What do you think? Let me know below. This week, we learned that the construction at Tesla's Giga Berlin has yet again been halted and suffered a setback. This time it's got something to do with the soil quality at the site of the facility. And that's bad news for Tesla, and it's also bad for Model Y reservation holders in Europe, because as Elon Musk confirmed this week, the European launch of Model Y just won't happen until Giga Berlin is up and running and producing cars. That's because Tesla plans to produce all European market Model Ys at Giga Berlin rather than produce them in America and ship them halfway around the world as it's done in the past. It will certainly save Tesla a lot of money in the long term, but it's sad news for Model Y customers in Europe, as it's likely going to be a year or more before European deliveries can start. And now it's time for those shorts. Electrify America and Kia have announced a new special charging plan for owners of the Kia e-Niro to address the car's maximum charging speed of 77 kilowatts. The new plan still costs significantly more, though, than charging a car that's only capable of 75 kilowatts at charging rate. Despite the onslaught of COVID-19, Tesla experienced really good sales figures in China during March. In total, it represented a total of 1/4 of all new electric cars sold in the PRC. Like other parts of the world, this bucks the trend as overall new car sales fell in China in March. A study from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health has shown that people who contract COVID-19 are more likely to die if they live in areas with high air pollution. This yet again reinforces the need for the world's nations to focus on cutting pollution immediately. Hyundai has published a short YouTube video giving owners of its electric cars tips on how to maximize their car's battery life. This includes avoiding draining the battery below 20%, charging often, and accelerating smoothly. Lordstown Motors has yet again published more teaser videos of its endurance truck this week, as well as announced it's starting to receive letters of intent from fleet operators who are looking to make bulk buys of its electric pickup truck. It's got to turn those confirmed orders into money. If fleet operators in the European Union are to meet emissions targets for the trucking segment, more electric truck-capable charging stations will be needed. That's according to the European Automobile Manufacturers Association, which warned this week that Europe needs a massive expansion of high-power charging stations that electric trucks can use. Karma Automotive has revealed a new plug-in hybrid van fitted with the eFlex drivetrain we told you about in last week's show, plus a Level 4 autonomous drive system powered by the NVIDIA AGX Pegasus autonomous vehicle platform. It previews future autonomous vehicles from the company. We'll see more from it in the future. Mercedes-Benz in-house tuning specialist AMG is reportedly working on a high-performance 600-plus horsepower variant of the EQS flagship sedan. It may get even more power too, just so it can compete with the Tesla Model S in plaid mode. Volkswagen has said that the situation in China is quickly improving following the almost countrywide lockdown for COVID-19. Now all Volkswagen dealerships and most factories are back to normal, but Volkswagen says all of its planned new EV launches are still on track for this year. The Škoda Citigo E4, that's Škoda's twin to the Volkswagen e-Up, has proven so popular with customers in the UK that Škoda has temporarily halted taking any more orders. Part of this is down to the car's popularity and price, and part of it is down to factory closures due to coronavirus. A construction site in Norway has become the country's first zero-emission construction site, thanks to an all-electric tracked excavator from Suncar HK. The unit is based on an identical unit from Hitachi, but this one is 100% electric. It can be charged at a rate of up to 280 kilowatts from a CCS quick charging station. The current pandemic has led the UK government to push back its plans to open London-style clear emission zones across other cities throughout the UK in order to tackle growing poor air quality and air pollution. Now these new low-emission zones will come into force next year. An Australian firm called Hyperpower have debuted a brand new electric motor with a power output of up to 1 megawatt. Ultimately, the company says it aims to use these motors in high-speed trains and hyperloops across Australia. But for now, it's just put 4 into an electric dragster. Its goal? To get that dragster to hit half the speed of sound. Nissan continued its restructuring plans this week, shifting down its forecasted production figures on its way to becoming a small volume automaker. This is bad news for Nissan's EV program, which at one time had been far, far ahead of much of the competition. The California Department of Motor Vehicles has given approval to the startup Niro to test its fully autonomous delivery vehicles in the San Francisco Bay Area. Because they are completely driverless, these vehicles, already operating in Arizona, could be the key to keeping coronavirus spread at a minimum. A new project in Europe called Lade PV, under the direction of the Fraunhofer Institute for Solar Energy Systems, is seeking to build and test photovoltaic modules for use on the top of commercial vehicles. The goal? To see if these modules can help power delivery trucks and recharge them on their trips around town. Tesla has quietly introduced a tow hitch option with a roof rack accessory for Model Y customers on its website, 2 separate options. The tow hitch will set you back $1,000 and is rated to tow up to 3,500 pounds of weight. A new study conducted with the help from scientists in both Germany and New Zealand has concluded that driving and charging electric vehicles pose absolutely no inherent health threats to those with implanted cardiac devices, putting to bed fears that the electromagnetic interference from the power electronics would cause problems with pacemakers, ICDs, and other implanted devices. And those are your short shorts. There will be more next week. Swedish motorcycle company Cake has unveiled a new, more affordable version of its no-frills Kulk motorcycle. Called the Cake Kulk Inc. SL, the new model features everything needed to make it road legal and says Cake can reach a top speed in excess of 63 miles per hour. which makes it a good commuter. While it's no Livewire or Energica, the Culk Inc. SL could be the first bike for everyone, and it's lightweight, easy to maneuver, and offers up to 3 hours of riding per charge. It will retail from $10,500 before incentives, and you can order one with a pre-order from $200. Deliveries are expected to start in July, and as usual, I'm hoping I get a chance to ride one, as I'm really a fan of minimalist motorcycles, as long as they've got the power to keep you safe and out of trouble. And finally, earlier this year, about the same time that we were coming back from Fully Charged Live USA, the University of Cincinnati in Ohio put up a listing on the govdeals.com website with a very sad looking shell and parts of a dismantled EV1. It was originally donated to the university for its engineering students to use, but the car has sat in storage for many, many years. And for about a week we watched the auction intently, wondering who would end up buying it. But now we know. The Beta Electric Motor Carriage Collection in Colorado, which paid an astonishing $23,662.10 to get its hands on the EV1. It will eventually join an impressive collection, including a super rare 1998 Nissan Ultra EV, a 1997 Honda EV Plus, and many, many other cool historical EVs. I think I need to pay them a visit, don't you? And on that note, it's the end of this week's show. But before I go, I want to thank the Electric Auto Association for their sponsorship of today's News Roundup show. As I'm sure you're aware, they've been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967, and they all firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. You can find out how to join, how to become a local EV educator, find local monthly meetups to attend, or find people to talk about making the switch to electric vehicles by going to electricauto.org. We would absolutely love it if you'd like, comment and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you feel able, please do consider supporting us using the links below. Although many of us find ourselves in a financially tough situation right now, our viewer count has gone up, but our revenue has dropped off a cliff. We're always grateful for your support in whatever way you can offer it. And that doesn't have to be Patreon or Ko-fi. I'm going to try for another hangout on Sunday over on the second channel. That's Transport Evolved Take 2, and I'll leave a link to that in the show notes below. As usual, I'm going to aim for a 10 a.m. Pacific start. I may be slightly late, so please be patient. Next week, I'm actually picking up our new chicks for our 1/3 of an acre plot, so we might not actually have a roundup show as usual next Sunday. Nevertheless, I'll be back soon with another show very soon, so thanks for joining me. Stay healthy, wash your hands, and as always, keep evolving.